Hi guys, my name is Gloria and today I'm going to go over how to optimize a simulation and see what are the best results for an emergency room. So a little bit about my simulation. I think I'm going to divide this little overview into two videos just because this might take a while. So this is my design. So let me stop it. I have 4 types of patients coming in to the ER. Walk-in patients, x-ray patients, EKG patients, and trauma patients. Obviously, this is not like an extremely accurate portrayal of an emergency room, but it basically it's a basic idea. And they all go into one source instead of having 4 sources, and I did that by having one table with a routing sequence and then a different table with a mix, which is like the weights of how they go in. Like if you remember doing paths and with connectors, this is like putting weights on the source, like how it's coming out. Whereas like before you're putting weights on like different pads. It's very similar. And so the routes are different. Walk-in patients, they would go to registration and then triage and then treatment and then check out and then sync. Then they'd exit. X-ray patients would go to registration, but they already know what they want, so they're going to go to x-ray and then check out and then sync. EKG patients, same thing. Registration, EKG, check out, sync. Trauma patients, registration, but they need like the same basic treatment because they have like the same issues as a walk-in patient. Like they don't have the same issues, but it's the same variety. It's not like all trauma patients have only something, you know. So trauma patients, registration, treatment. So they go straight to treatment. Both the trauma patients and walk-in patients will go to treatment, but trauma patients get to go there first. They don't have to go through the triage. So they'll go registration, treatment, checkout, and then sync. So I'm just going to run it so you guys can see. I sped it up a little bit. So you can see how the green are the walk-ins. The reds are the x-ray. These are the EKG. You can see how like greens are dominating because the mix it's like over half. The sum is about 100. So I'm going to stop that, and let me fast forward it. So, and then go to results. And here I'm just going to filter my view. All I want to see is time system. Okay, so these are the times in system, and the average time in system is 0.7946. That's an hour. So in minutes, I can quickly calculate that over here. 0.7946. About 47.676 minutes. If you run it different times, you might get, 49 minutes. You might get 45 minutes, but it's around that area. So we want to optimize. Before I go into that, I'm just going to show you a little bit, like this is the exact same model, but all I did was like, I put it in symbols just to make it like fun to look at. I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to show this, and if I run it, you can see people going in and out. The same whole thing. This is the sink, that's the source. Treatment capacity is 6 here, so you can see like the paths that they go in and out. It's pretty cool. Zoom in on the people. So here's a triage, and this is registration. See, there's only 1 at triage, 2 at registration, and if you need a wheelchair, there's some wheelchairs over there. I'm just kidding. So, but actually, I'm going to go into the optimization part in the second part of this video. I'm just going to give you a little overview of what I'm trying to do and also the parameters and the constraints of this project, opportunity, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. Okay, let me just stop it. That was fun though. It was fun like finding the symbols and looking. I got this one online. I downloaded it. I also downloaded that. Like if it's not in the standard library, the internet is full of everything. So I actually don't need this anymore. So I'm going to go into this Word document. So the scenario of this optimization project is that there's some money that this hospital has, and they call you because you know everything about optimization, and they say, we want to spend our money and we can only spend it on the ER because someone donated money. What is the best way to do that? And so now it's your job, and they give you all this data, all this research that has been done, and they're like, okay, this is what you have, like, come next week and tell us what to do with our money. And if we want to, they don't really care about utilizing their resources. So even if utilization drops down below like 80%, they'll probably be like, whatever, I don't think that's something that we're going to look at. We're going to look at time and system. We want to minimize time and system. The moment the patients walk in the door to the second they get out, we want that time inside the building to be, little, just as short as it can be. So these are the 6 servers that I had in my simulation. And what I want to do is, so we're going to focus on the capacity. And if we add one to the capacity of each of these servers, this is how much it's going to cost. The numbers vary. It wasn't random. I kind of think if you work as a registration clerk and triage clerk or checkout clerk, it's around this area. Treatment, if you're a doctor, this is how much it would to have another doctor on call all the time. And for x-ray tech, that's how much it costs for the actual x-ray machine and for the x-ray tech. And then EKG, same thing for the machine and the tech and the technician. So those are some of our constraints. And then we're going to look at the actual parameters of the run. So these are the original parameters. This is the research that you've been given by this hospital. So walk-ins arrive every 3 minutes. So that means in an hour, they're 20. X-ray patients arrive every 7.5 minutes. So they're 8 every hour. Same with EKG, same with trauma. And then the total, I had to make sure that your capacity should never be over 100% because that just means that over time, you're going to have a buildup of a line out the door. And an emergency room is open, I would say 24/7, right? So you can't constantly be being backed up. So that's something to think about if you're making your own model. So because I came up with these numbers myself. I did utilize the resources online. So Simio has a lot of videos and where I learned a lot of this stuff, like the routing sequence. I learned that very recently. So if you want to learn more, and I'm not covering everything on Simio, you can head over there. And also, I'm not going to take credit for designing this whole system because I'm pretty sure that something like this has been done, even if it's slightly different. They had 5 entities, or they called this something else, or they called checkout something else, signing out, and they called this signing in. So I just want to put that out there just in case. So with these given parameters, and let me quickly go over capacity. Registration, you can register 2 people at a time. Triage, 1 at a time. EKG, 1. X-ray, 1. Treatment, there's 6 treatment centers at a time, which means there are 6 doctors in the ER at all times, which is, I feel like that's good. So these are the processing times. It takes 3 minutes, takes 2.5, takes 18 minutes, takes 7 minutes, takes 13 minutes, takes 4.5 minutes. I think this is all pretty reasonable. Obviously, it's not the exact numbers, but it's pretty reasonable. So in the next video, which hopefully it'll be in your playlist that is going over there that you can click next, I'll show you guys how I'm going to try to optimize this system.